involving the Com Games. Now, just listen to this. Despite the Premier cancelling the Games, taxpayers in Victoria will continue to pay millions of dollars in six-figure salaries for a whole lot of Commonwealth Games directors that have been employed in regional areas in Geelong, Ballarat, Bendigo, Gippsland for the next 3 to 5 years. There'll be more compensation, of course, paid to the organisers of the Games in the UK because we've now cancelled it. But I can't fathom, Michael, how someone can still be getting $200,000 or $300,000 for a job that doesn't even exist.
Nor can I, Peter. No. I mean, you say you want to stay in Victoria. I keep imploring you week after week to come north. You're more than welcome up here. It's far more sane. I don't know if it's better run, but it's certainly far more sane. But leaving that aside, we've been told from Premier Andrews, not that there's really figures anywhere to justify this, but, sort of trust him, that it's going to be terribly expensive to run the Games, hence we can't do it. What's clearly becoming evident is that it's terribly expensive to cancel the Games. And gone are the days of them being the Commonwealth Games. They're turning out to be the Commonwealth Games. So it's just ridiculous what's going on. Someone else will pick it up and they'll do quite well out of it and get dividends from tourism and all the rest over the decades ahead. But when you outline what you've just done, and then, of course, there's a huge amount of money for a headquarters of sorts in Geelong, which is now not going to go ahead. And that's sort of the measurable, tangible economic impact. But there's, of course, an intangible but even greater impact on people that had dreams and aspirations and businesses and sporting hopes and all the rest of it built around this. They were promised the world not that long ago. It's been whipped out from under them. And there's reputational loss, and that's very difficult to measure, not just for Victoria, but that then seeps more broadly across the Australian image. So, I mean, everywhere you turn, this is a disaster.
I'll remind people at home too, Caroline, that the bloke in charge of the Com Games for the Victorian government is a guy called Jerome Weimar. He was the COVID commissar at one time, but he was also the bloke heavily involved in hotel quarantine. So he's on a $600,000 a year salary. No sense that that's going to disappear, even though there's no Games. He's also the bloke that's helped spend $176,000 down in Geelong to build Commonwealth Games offices. Of course, wasted money. They're not going to need those now. At the same time, it's cold down here in Victoria. We've got pensioners who can't even turn the heater on.
And what a slap in the face this is for those people, Peter, who can't afford to pay their energy bills and contend with the rising cost of living. But this $176,000 figure you mentioned, that's just a drop in the ocean. And we're talking about $1 billion or more that the state of Victoria is now up for in terms of compensation, money already paid, and all those six-figure salaries that we're talking about here. That's going to come at the expense of taxpayers, benefits for taxpayers, because we're not going to see anything out of that in this country. We're not going to see any of the benefits of tourism and spending that the Games would bring. Instead, we just are lumped with this huge bill. And I note that recent polling suggests that this really has started to take an impact on the popularity of Daniel Andrews. So maybe there is one upside to this, that this may finally be the instrument to get through the Teflon coating of Teflon Dan.
I think we all hope you're right, Caroline, but he's a bit of a Houdini and all of that. I'll get to that, though, with Damon in a moment.